All right, boys, we are back. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you've been following me for a while, you already know I've been using Overlyzer to track live football games and find some serious good in-play opportunities. Today, I'm really excited because I've just finished updating my live first half filters, and honestly, they're performing better than ever. For anyone new here, Overlyzer is a live analytics platform that tracks thousands of football matches in real time. It visualizes which teams are dominating through shots, pressure, momentum, all the little things that the scoreline won't tell you. So in this video specifically, I'm going to show you exactly how my new live first half filters work, what metrics I'm focusing on, and why these tweaks are going to give more consistent results. If you guys want to try Overlyzer for yourself, I'll leave a link down in the description. You guys can test it out and follow along with my filters. So here we have the filter screen. This is where you can kind of concoct any filter you want and then save it. So I'm just going to run through this really quickly for anyone who does not know what the filter screen looks like. So right away, you can choose from any leagues that you want your filter to be a part of. And then you can look at the progress, right? So difference in pressure, home pressure, away pressure, team pressure. Are different pressure situations you can, have a filter for. If you want high pressure, low pressure, you can, drag that along. You can also pick what minute the match is in by, scrolling with this filter here. Total game pressure is probably my favorite form of pressure to search from. So live pressure is something that I'll be showing you guys later, but you can drag live pressure along, average pressure along. Then you can decide how many goals you want in your match, how many, attacks, home attacks, away attacks. You can basically separate home and away through all these different events here with corners, attacks, and goals. Same thing with shots, on target shots. You can do home on target, away on target, both on target, etc. And then you can do the same thing with off target. You have cards here. I don't particularly use cards too much, but there are some people, I'm assuming, in certain leagues where, you would want to see if there's yellow cards. You would want to see if there's red cards, especially if you're betting live in-play cards. This could be a good spot for you to see if there's a match where you thought there would be a lot of cards beforehand and they don't have any, and then you can look at betting cards live. Then you have the odds, right? This is another spot where I would be, popping in and looking for home pregame, away pregame, because sometimes you can allow the pregame odds to dictate how you're going to make a bet in live in play. So I'll get to that in a little bit for one of my filters. So for the first half filter, this is what it looks like. I have the minutes set to 20 to 38, mainly because I don't really think anything from 0 to 20 is really worth our while in the terms of tracking. Now, some people might drag it to like 10 minute. I like to just stick it at 20 up to 38, because anything after the 38th minute will be really high in odds. And for a filter, I don't really think I want to see anything after the 38th. I think long term I won't be able to find great spots after the 39th minute, because you have to remember it's also the first half, so ET might not really be a thing for in relation to second half bets, for example. Total game pressure for the live, I like to be 35. Now, this is going to be the last 10 minutes of the match, so this is going to be kind of relevant, because if you are searching from 20 to 38, the last 10 minutes will be very valuable in that time frame. For average pressure, it will account for the entirety of the match up until that point. So 30 average is always a great number I look for. 35 live is just to make sure the match is still going in the right direction you want it to. Like, it wasn't just a situation where the early match was very high pressure and the live isn't. So this is why you want live to be 35, average to be 30. I have goal set to 0. So this is a big difference than I think with other people doing their filter. Some people like to see goals already, like there's already 1 goal or 2 goals, then they like to bet a 3rd goal. For me though, I really only like to look at these filters with no goals in the match. I think that's the best time where you can find, the most pressure and find situations where teams just aren't scoring, but they're getting a lot of stats down, getting a lot of shots and pressure down. And then we have the corners. So corners I have set to 3, and shot on targets I have set to 3. Now, the reason I have shot on targets at 3 and corners at 3 is because shot on targets and corners are different in the sense that corners kind of show danger. Shot on targets can be taken from, long shots outside the box. I'm sure anybody's watched a match where if an attacker takes a shot outside the box and the keeper just easily gets it, it counts as a shot on target, but it's not really dangerous. Now, corners are a situation where you have defenders kicking the ball out of bounds. You have keepers making saves, over the bar, and then, it becomes a corner. So corners just give you more danger. So I think the more corners you have in a match, especially in the first half, I feel like there's a goal coming, right? Or at least there's a good opportunity for a goal to come in. This would just be my new basic updated filter. So it's very straightforward. 20 to 38th minute, 35 live pressure, 30 average pressure, no goals in the match, 3 corners, and 3 on target. Now, I will say you can mess around with this the more you want. Right now, if you're someone who's like, I want to see a couple of off target, you can throw some off targets in there. If you're someone who kind of thinks that the live pressure is too high, or if the average pressure is too high, you could drop it as you please and see if it brings you in more matches. But for me, especially while I'm live on Twitch and I stream all of the bets that I make, I do like it to be more filtered than less filtered, right? I'd rather Overlyzer be telling me that there is nothing within your filter, rather than me kind of dropping the filter settings and then getting more matches then, because I feel like that's when you lose more, right? When you try to take more bets in the situation, you will end up losing. So I think the more filtration you have amongst any system that you have, right, the more filtered it is, I think it's the better. So that is my first half filter. All right, so my second filter will still follow the same as the first filter, where the 20 to 38th minute is still where I feel like that sweet spot is for the first half. Now, the difference is the total game pressure. So the total game pressure, I do not care about the live. I'm only caring about the average, and you'll see why in a little bit. So for the average pressure, I have 35 and higher, which just shows great pressure for a first half. The more you use Overlyzer, you'll notice it 30 to 40% is that nice number where you want to see the average to be, to just know that the match has activity, the match is, you know, popping, so to speak. So this is where the difference comes in for my second filter. So this is known as like home favorite, home hasn't scored yet in the first half filter. I know it's a long name, I need to come up with a better name for it, but basically home comeback filter. So home teams will be on 0 goals. You want home corners to be on 2. You want home shot on targets to be on 2. Basically, you can kind of already tell that this similarly follows the first filter in the sense of how you want corners and how you want shots on target. Now, that's not really going to change based on what type of filter you want. It's just this one's more specific to home teams. I feel like this would be great to have on any type of day where there's a bunch of matches on, so you can just filter for home teams. And then this is, I think, the most important part for me. You want the home pregame line to be 1.6 or lower. Basically, you want the home pregame filter to be on 0 to 1.6. So the lower the home favorite is, you know, the more likely, the more expected they are to score a goal pregame. So this one is just basically the home comeback filter. And as you can see, again, I'm going to review it real quickly. We have 20 to 38 minutes. We have 35 and higher for the average pressure. You could change live pressure if you wanted to, but for this specific one, I'm not really that interested in live pressure, because with the home favorite being as high as they are, you never really know how the live of the match will be, right? You know, is the away team time wasting if they're a big underdog? So I just want to make sure that the average pressure of the match is decent. I want to make sure the home team is on no goals. It's very important for this filter. And then the home corners, two corners, and then 2 shots on target for the home team are basically me telling myself I want to make sure the home team is being dangerous in the first half. And then the most important part, like I said before, is you want the home team to be at least 1.6 favorites or lower, just so you know that, you know, the books had them as a team that was supposed to be scoring pregame. And that is my second filter here. All right, guys, so that was my updated first half live filter setup on Overlyzer. As you can see, it was just a couple of adjustments, but I feel like overly adjusting things cannot be great, because I mean, the first half filter I made a year ago was still good. It just needed some slight tweaks to be a little bit better. So tightening the pressure index and focusing on teams with a clear attacking trend is kind of a big difference in catching those early goals. If you've been using Overlyzer for a while, definitely test out these tweaks and compare them with your own filters, because I think having more discussion about filters and using Overlyzer can help us make better bets in the future. If you're completely new to it, I would give it a try. Just make sure you know that not everything is guaranteed. You know, it is betting after all. Football is football after all. You know, anything can happen in a football match, so keep that in mind as you're staking and wagering. I would definitely recommend, you know, a flat unit staking system, and just to see how things go for, you know, a 1 month or 2 months. Just as a reminder, I've dropped my link in the description below for you guys to sign up for Overlyzer. It helps supports the channel and gives you guys full access to all the live data if you guys want to follow along with my setup. If there is any other filter or any other concept you guys want to see, whether it's football betting in general or specifically to Overlyzer, let me know down in the comment section below. Love you guys.